person for a couple old men who like to yell a lot.
Yeah.
And that's what's really getting on my nerves today is, Brad Staley, local Bernie guy, you moderates and blah, 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 blah. And, don't listen to me about it. Listen to Dr. King. And I'm like, listen, motherfucker, Joe Biden is not my guy,
but
Bernie's not even really my guy. It doesn't matter now.
Right. Yeah. It's weird being sort of agnostic now. We're live, by the way. It's weird being agnostic now in the race like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to go share this URL all over the place to people. If you're coming in, the reason why the title of this episode is No Crying on the Show Today, we pinky swear, is because Elizabeth Warren dropped out. She did a couple days ago, but she had an interview with Maddow last night that was heart-wrenching.
Yeah, it was yesterday, dude.
She dropped out yesterday and then went on?
It was yesterday.
Oh, shit. Okay, yeah. Well, there you go. It all
it just seems like
it's all fuzzing together at this point.
Yeah. I'm Warren was my first choice all the way through.
Since 2015, except for my little dalliance with Yang, and if they'd both been for UBI, I would have been with her.
And I like where I am with this today is, you and we made a commitment and a promise that no matter who the nominee was, we would fully support that nominee, that we 100%. Would do whatever we needed to do to get them elected because of the disparity between the basic human morals of any possible candidate in the race and Donald J. Trump. And we arrived at that decision, at that way of looking at this race, because of what we saw happen in 2016 and being the kind of people we are, acknowledging our failure to do more to avoid a Trump first term.
Yeah.
And so now I don't even want to use the word obligated. We're privileged to be able to make a huge difference for whoever that nominee is. And what's happening today is I'm hearing a lot of I will never vote for Bernie, or I will never vote for Joe Biden bullshit. Again, how have you lost sight? How have you possibly lost sight of where that got us in 2016? And I fucking voted for Bernie in the primary in 2016.
I was yelling at everyone to do it, even though I'm not allowed to.
And to be told today that you moderates are just blah blah blah. No, I'm not. I'm not excited about Joe Biden as a candidate. I'm not. I'm truly not.
Yeah,
it's problematic. It's not great. But you know what? Bernie's not that great either. The best possible candidate left the race yesterday. And, she had all of the ideas, all of the plans, all of the street fighting sense that is required to take on Donald J. Trump. And people kept asking her how she was going to pay for things. And they're not asking Bernie in the same way, those kinds of questions. Men get a pass. There's misogyny in this decision. There's misogyny in where we are right now, that the two last people in the race are the old white guys who like to yell and beat their chests and literally threaten to take Trump out behind the woodshed and kick his ass. Do we really, are we excited? Are you excited about that? I'm not excited about that. I think we've had enough of that hyper masculine bullshit posturing. I really thought this was a race where I couldn't possibly imagine somebody maybe more qualified than Hillary Clinton, a woman, would run, but Liz Warren is maybe one of the most qualified people to ever run for the office. And I'm watching the Dow futures this morning. It may be open by now, but the Dow futures are hovering, down around minus 850 the last time I checked. Gee, what a great time it would be to have an economics professor helping guide policy.
Yeah,
from the White House.
And again, this is where, like, any of these Democrats, because Biden, and this is something that Michelle actually brought up when I was talking to her about it. She's like, it's good to be. And we were actually talking about Amy Klobuchar because, of course, the day after she pulled out of the race, she was doing legislation in the Senate like the badass that she is. And Michelle said that's not necessarily good for president. President needs to be inspiring everyone else to do that kind of stuff, and that's how you win these kinds of elections. And it was an interesting point. Because Biden doesn't know how to do any of this, I don't think, right? But he's going to listen to the experts. Like I have a high degree of confidence in that.
Right.
And Bernie Sanders to a lesser extent, but still within the, I think the within the Democratic Party norms, which is a million times better than Trump, who's telling people with coronavirus to
go to work.
It's
work. Fine. Go to work.
Like,
lots of people, it's not even like they really get sick. They have the coronavirus. They don't get sick.
They're fine. They're
fine.
totally fine.
Go out.
Never mind.
And, come to my rally Tuesday night.
Like, oh, fucking hell.
Yeah. Jen, off topic, but oh my God, Greg's face is naked.
Yeah. Who even is this?
Yeah, that happens. I actually usually shave it twice a year. I forgot at Christmas. Usually it's my birthday, which is in June, and Christmas, and I just didn't get around to it. So finally the other day I just decided it's not coronavirus related, but I decided it was time. So I'll be naked faced for a couple of weeks, then I'll get lazy and stop shaving, and I'll grow it back. I promise. So there. Yep, Donovan Meter. I hate that I have to vote for another old white man, but I will. I hate that I have to vote for another old white man. I can't believe it's come down to two nearly octogenarians.
Hold on. So I think this is interesting. So and honestly, like, I think this is probably just utter bullshit. Her lying about being native killed her. To be honest, no rational person actually believes that. A 5-second Google will show you exactly what happened with that whole thing. So basically, you're just uttering a Trump line, which is really pathetic. Then they go on to ask, what do you guys get from people who voted for Trump? In some of these states, from the top Democratic candidates put together primaries. Can
you give us an example of that? Because
factually incorrect.
Actually happened.
I mean, if you want to come in here and just say, "Oh, dude, the sun actually came up underneath my orange today," like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
like that's
please
not the kind of show.
Link.
Yeah, that's not the kind of show this is. We require data, not utter horseshit.
Yep.
Anyway, yay.
Yep. If that's some sort of a, I don't know, that feels like a pro-Trump post.
Yeah.
And so okay,
that's fine.
Maybe you're right that's what cost Elizabeth Warren the nomination. But why didn't bragging about grabbing women by the pussy cost your guy the nomination? There's misogyny in this race.
Nailed it.
There just is. And furthermore, when the weird Jacob Wall story about how Elizabeth Warren was having a BDSM affair with a young Marine corporal broke, I was like, that doesn't make me want to vote for her less.
Right? That was the dumbest story ever. Like, okay,
come at me, bro.
Damn. Okay. Bubble Viz with
that's consensual. That's a consensual BDSM.
There you go. Bubble Viz with the I guess old white men are just the best. Not fucking today, bro. Not today. Yeah. That's just fucking lame. And honestly, like, so I think the reason is because everyone is afraid and they're going back to like, they're reverting to really, really base ideas about how all this should work. Right? Nobody wants to take any risk. What's the least risky thing that we could possibly do?
Right.
So I, and again, like, I don't know what that, I don't know. It's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Casey said there are a lot of old white men who are fantastic people. I agree.
Eugenia Debs, who is actually our friend Elizabeth Wood, who has like at least 3 different account names. I'm suspicious that she's not some sort of international spy woman of mystery but
she's a woman of mystery.
Our voices bother them unless we are singing or using fake sing-song or speaking in a sultry tone. Otherwise, we're shrill. 100% true. That's the and the other thing that came up last night, and I believe it was Ann Richards' granddaughter who worked on the Clinton campaign, and she was saying, the thing is that look how much everybody loves Warren now that she's not seeking power.
Huh.
Hillary Clinton was very popular before she ran for president. When she started seeking power, that's when she became, caustically unpopular. When women seek power, they get punished. They get punished. And we have to have a hard conversation about that. And I'm willing to take that heat. I'll die on this fucking hill. There is deep misogyny and sexism in Warren being out of this race. And, also true for Kamala Harris, also true for Kirsten Gillibrand. These are women that do, are far smarter, more organized, and driven than I am. And them being the early ones out was a sign of things to come. But why not Klobuchar? Why not Klobuchar? Because she's a moderate. Women speaking for deep systemic change are, given something of a pass on this.
So, yeah. Just want to give Deborah Rivera a shout out. She said, "Missed you guys. My dog Jackson passed away on Sunday. Both my dogs are sitting right here. That gives me the feels. Been taking care of my 73-year-old neighbor before and after surgery. Thank you for doing that. But that's so hard. They're freaking humans. Like, I don't care."
So did you?
I pretend I don't care about my dogs all the time to try and prepare myself for when they go. It's not working. But
okay, I have a video that I want to share.
Oh, go
on. This is from USA Today, and it's the title of it is "We Are All Bailey Today." Do you know about this?
Isn't Bailey their burrito dog?
Bailey is Warren's dog.
Yeah.
This is Bailey snarfing a burrito to get over his grief.
He's like, no, mine.
I felt like 3:00 yesterday afternoon. I really wanted to snarf a burrito.
Oh, that's awesome.
I can't believe they took it away from him. Like, what's wrong with you people? Let him grieve. We all grieve in our own way.
Yeah,
so I thought that was sweet.
Okay, just to break this down. Yeah, so Warren lost her own state. Yeah, we know. And there were more Republicans that voted for Biden than more people that voted for Trump than for Biden, right? So Trump isn't having an actual primary. Like, you have to know this, right? Like, Trump isn't having an actual primary. He's the only person basically who's allowed on the ballot. He's getting 97% of the thing because he's got 97% of support with Republicans because you're all fucking idiots. Like, just going to go out and say that. And we're having a primary with 5 or 6 people that are still getting votes. So yeah, he got more votes in some red states. Like, this is, I don't understand why you think that's
the reddest of red states.
Why do you think that's interesting? Right? Like that, like, we're not going to win Alabama. Fuck Alabama.
Hey, we want Doug Jones to win in Alabama.
Yes.
And he will.
Okay, that's cool. Sorry. I got a little uppity.
Jefferson Beauregard Sessions is now in a runoff for the Republican nomination for that seat.
That's pretty fun.
That's pretty piss poor.
Fuck that
if you're
guy.
The former senator, former cabinet member, and you can't outright win the Republican nomination in your own damn state, and you're named after 2 Confederate generals. Come on, man.
Yeah, right. Oh, Jeff Sessions.
Actually, Jefferson was Jeff Davis. Jefferson Davis's first name. Beauregard was a famous Confederate general. So, yeah. If you're named Jefferson Beauregard Davis or Jefferson Beauregard, what the fuck is his last name? I
don't know.
Anyway,
I have no
idea. You can't win in Alabama outright. Something wrong with your game.
Wow. Yeah, Donna, I've actually seen this in a few different places because I like being on Twitter. Because remember, and Casey and I, you remember this from 2 years ago, right? Like, when Casey and I first met, Casey's been watching the show for a long time. We fucking love her. She's fucking fantastic. Just get that out of the way. But she was telling me about the Bernie bro thing, and I was like, nah, because I thought every person who liked Bernie Sanders was probably like me. I hadn't met a whole bunch of them, and I wasn't on Twitter. After being on Twitter actively for the last 3 months, holy shit. Like the idea that it's equal or that everybody else has toxic people in their campaign or whatever, it's just false. It's not true. And I've seen that it just boil my blood. So anyway, Donna decided Bernie bro is telling us women to basically stop crying about Warren being out. Just shut up and vote for Bernie. I told him that his comments did not recommend him to us. He needs to shut the fuck up. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I put this on Twitter a couple minutes ago as a little hot take. I think that Elizabeth Warren would get more done as Biden's vice president than Bernie will actually get done as a fucking president. Because who's he going to lead? Which Democrats is he going to get on board for his idea that he hasn't even fleshed out?
Right.
4?
And calling Warren a snake and all the homophobic comments that were made about Pete Buttigieg in his name. And,
right.
and there's a lot of us that are kind of aggravated, not at Bernie, but at Bernie supporters. And the problem with that is there's a specific problem with that campaign right now. And that comes from the top. And Elizabeth Warren laid out a strategy that she thought every campaign should do And she was careful not to single Bernie out for this, although Rachel Maddow eventually got her to kind of say it was specifically a Bernie problem. Is every day take a handful of tweets that are the most the most foul, awful things and say, this is not us. We will not let this happen in our campaign. Andrew Yang is a lesson for us in this regard, because the first couple of months that he was talking about running and it was in the race, white nationalists were all over it. Finally, white people are going to get the compensation that African Americans have been getting for decades. And he was like, nope,
he bitch slapped him the fuck out of here.
Yep.
There was absolutely no allowance for that whatsoever. And he started a humanity first. We're going to be kind. We're going to be inclusive. We're going to be, honestly, a lot of the things that Pete Buttigieg was saying, right? And that Biden is now co-opting into his campaign very intelligently.
Right.
That became our marching orders. What marching orders are people in the Bernie camp getting? If you're not with us, you're against us. Actual ad against Pete Buttigieg,
Yep.
right? And it's that all the time. The DNC is totally still against us. DNC's fucking. They wrote the rules for the DNC, right? They helped. And yes, are there some people that disagree with you in the DNC? Yeah, but there's also people that are on your side. So shut the fuck up. It's like this professional victimization thing that Trump is doing. I can't be a part of that, right? And I would be a lot more interested in making the sort of Faustian choice of still backing Bernie Sanders if I thought for a millisecond that he could bring the Democratic Party around to actually do his ideas, and I don't. There's no evidence of that. Anyway, it's sad. Fucking Biden sucks. Like, he's not. And again, I say that I actually watched his last speech, and it did not suck. And
that's the Biden that should have been out on the campaign trail.
100%, right?
Where were they hiding him?
And like in the Obama years, and again, like you're gonna find weird off tapes. And I didn't know he had a stutter, and I actually did a bunch of research on this because it seemed convenient that I was learning it now.
Yeah,
but it's been around for a long time.
Yep.
And so
he always like kids in the crowd who have speech impediments. He always takes time with them, to make sure they understand that you can work through this. There's things to like about Joe. Like he was amazingly popular as vice president.
Hell yeah. I mean, dude, the big fucking deal moment. Are you kidding me? Like that was amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun watching Joe be vice president.
Yeah.
And I am I excited that we're going to have to defer big structural change another 4 years? No, I'm fucking terrified. It's not what I want to, it's not where I want to be. Yeah. But if we don't win the White House, do you think Trump's behavior is going to get better? That he's going to be humbled by the close victory he's going to get?
Even that, it won't matter. We'll lose the Supreme Court for 20 years.
Yep. Yeah.
Anything we do will get turned down.
If you're saying I won't vote for Biden, I won't work for Biden, you're saying you're okay with a 7-2 conservative Supreme Court for the next 30 years.
Ultra conservative, theocratic, sell your freaking uterus to the state Supreme Court.
Yep. And they're making 5-4 conservative decisions right now.
Yep.
So no, we cannot afford this.
Brutal.
Yeah. Ask yourself this simple acid test question. Do you think that Biden will pick Supreme Court justices that don't make the court better? Can you really say that? Do you really think that he'll be less than thoughtful, that he won't engage in making sure that the court is biased to the side of the people? You can't say that. So if you're saying he's as bad as Trump, which don't even get me started, on that one topic alone, you are absolutely 100% wrong, provably wrong. And I had someone that I really respect and care about today say to me, well, do you have any proof at all that he changed things for brown children at the border? Do you need proof?
What?
He's apparently never spoken on that. And I'm like, do you think that's in what real world, what real objective space do you think that he wouldn't change that immediately? Because it fucking looks terrible. It is terrible. 5,000 reports of sexual misconduct against children in our custody at the border. You think he won't change that? What the fuck? I'm really annoyed today. You could probably tell. It's probably fairly obvious that I'm annoyed. Yeah. Yep. Bingo, Deb. Corey, that's a Trump saying. If you aren't with us, then you're against us.
100%.
Yeah. Yep.
I think Sherry was saying, or somebody was saying, sorry for I should probably just go through and actually find it. But basically,
this is where I'm wishing we could know the VP so I can feel better about who I am supporting in the primary. You know, yeah, that's a thing. And Stacey Abrams,
yes, that's where I was going.
Is the giant wild card. There was a lot of talk about Warren as a VP pick. Okay, but you know what? If she's the VP pick or a cabinet pick, we lose her in the Senate.
Yeah, that's a huge loss.
We are already losing Bernie Sanders' seat if he wins, right? So we would actually be giving up 2 Democratic Senate seats if either of them picks her as a vice president.
And we can't afford it.
I'm not excited about that. And Senate Majority Leader Elizabeth Warren.
Oh, motherfucker, that would be awesome.
I mean,
Oh, damn. Hold on, just give me a minute. Just
yeah. Do you remember that when she first started talking about running, one of the things I said is, no, I want her to be the lion of the Senate. I want her to be, for the next 20 years, the astonishingly powerful, amazing Elizabeth Warren in the Senate, who single-handedly got us the Consumer Protection Bureau.
Her instead of McConnell. I mean,
right?
That's just tweet.
Shit will get done.
Wow.
And she's a great vote wrangler too. You know what? She's great at building consensus and coalition support for things. I'm telling you, man. I don't know. Okay, I have one more thing to share. It's 10:22. I just want to note that because that's the time that we're going to cry on the internet.
Oh,
this is a collection of shots of Elizabeth Warren's pinky swears with girls on the campaign trail.
You're
and I really believe that 30 years from now, we're going to be watching some woman on the stage during a debate talking about running for president because she made Liz Warren a pinky promise in 2020. We missed a great opportunity here. Yeah. So 10:23. I got laugh track is now also sobbing in the corner.
She's cry track today.
God damn it. Jed, stop. Yeah, sorry. No, I won't stop. God damn it, I'm emotional about this. And I'm a dude and I'm allowed to be emotional. Other dudes, take note. You can be emotional about this.
Yeah, take note.
But don't limit your emotions to romantic love and rage. Try and feel some other things once in a while. That would be cool. Yeah. All right, I got everybody crying. Awesome. Mission accomplished. That's
interesting. Dave said I listened to a podcast this day where they interviewed Clyburn, and he basically said that he endorsed Biden because of a promise for a woman of or a person of color as VP. I'd put money on Abrams or Booker even. I mean, Booker would be great, but again, we lose him as a senator, which is I don't want to do.
Right,
because he's actually really good in the Senate too.
Okay, but here's the problem. The difference may be this: that losing the Warren seat, the governor of Massachusetts is a Republican.
Yeah,
that means
that Booker is actually good in the Senate. Now, granted,
I understand, but if the
too,
governor of New Jersey is going to pick another Democrat, that's okay. Then we don't lose that seat, right? I agree with you that Booker's great in the Senate, but the criticality of the loss of Warren is that it'll go to a Republican.
Yeah.
So that's
comparing Abrams and Booker. I mean, the last time that they had a woman as a vice presidential pick, she was a fucking idiot. Respectfully.
Yeah, we're talking about Sarah Palin.
We are.
Yeah.
She was dumb as a box of hammers.
Yeah, that was a terrible choice. And I'll tell you what, that I was more conservative than I am now. And I was considering voting for John McCain. I was actually thinking about it when he picked Sarah Palin. I was like, nope, that's done. That's not going to happen now. John McCain is probably the last Republican that's not true. John Huntsman, who's actually Mitt Romney's cousin, I would have considered voting for John Huntsman, but he never polled above 1% when he ran.
Yeah, so. He was the only one. He was the one I was scared about because, if they'd actually managed to get him through the primaries, he would have done really well.
Yep.
Michael Moore said that the Dems will now lose the presidential race. I mean,
who did?
Michael Moore.
Okay, you know what? He's been right a lot, and that's
maybe
that's scary. But, I mean, yeah. Listen, none of them are going. Neither of them are going to win if we do not coalesce behind them.
Yeah.
Either of them can beat Donald Trump, but only if we do the vast majority of the heavy lifting. We have to do it. We've got a lesson this year. The Senate didn't save us from Donald J. Trump, and they had every opportunity to. And they even said what he did was impeachable, and they still voted not to remove him from office. So the Senate is not coming to save us. We have to do that.
Yeah.
Right. And one of the other things that I want to say, and again, I know that there is a certain segment of people on the internet and in my life that are going to want to paint me as an anti-Bernie person. I am not. But one of the things we need to think about is the down ballot effect of Bernie Sanders at the top of the ticket. Don't think for a minute that Republicans are not going to paint every candidate who runs as a socialist like Bernie. That happened in 2016 and 2018 to our friends Kelly Smith and Brandy Goyette. A county commissioner here who has a big public voice called them outside agitators who have come in to change our way of life. And by the way, I got lumped into that conversation, even though I wasn't running for office. And I reminded Mike Moore, motherfucker, I was living here 20 years before you came here. So talking about me as some sort of outside agitator is just plain bullshit. I grew up here. I know what the problems are far better than you do. And I'm actually, willing to say so. So, I worry about the down ballot effect of a Bernie nomination.
Yeah, I think it's real. I mean, they're going to call us all socialists anyway. That's true.
Yeah.
But when the candidate calls himself a socialist, that's a fucking problem. It's just like the dumbest branding in the world in America, right?
Yep.
It's setting up a fight that is ridiculous. And they I'm having this conversation with Rio on the Moving Forward podcast all the time, right? It's now I'm sympathetic to the idea that socialism kind of means, in this country, since I get called a socialist all the time because I'm from Canada and I think single payer is a good idea. Never mind that all the data agrees with me, right?
Right.
I still get called a socialist. They all the Republicans call Norway and fucking Finland and Switzerland, all those people, they call them all socialists. But at the end of the day, they're mixed economies. And they always have been, right? There are particular sectors that have been nationalized or whatever, right? It's very specifically, right. And the rest of it is total capitalism, right? It's still market economies. So it's giving them ammunition that we don't need to give them. And it's one thing if it works for Bernie Sanders, right? And because all the polling suggests that it might, but it really will. There's a reason why Sinema in Arizona is like, no, and immediately started endorsing Biden because she knows what will happen in her district to her. Yep. Like if we lost 10 people in the Senate, that's almost as bad as losing the Supreme Court for 20 years.
It would be,
it's not worse. It's not at all worse
than that,
because we could make up for it 4 years later, right?
Yep. Yeah. You know what, Ginny? Every time I listen to Freakonomics, I love it. I just don't listen to it often enough. She says we should also listen to the Freakonomics podcast. What is socialism anyway? Freakonomics is an outstanding podcast about all sorts of crazy topics, and funny and charming and good stuff.
Casey, could you give us the link for the plus 47 in Florida?
It was one poll, and it's actually St. Pete polling, if I saw that correctly. Okay. I saw the 538 average was 27.5% up, and it included that poll as part of the averaging process. They have I think they have a B- rating from 538 for poll accuracy.
Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. There are others that were even crazier, but with lower ratings. So
okay.
I saw one that was something like 61% yesterday. I was like, easy now. How many did you do? Talk to the 5 people in your office? What's going on there? But the 538 average has him consistently polling higher than Bernie. And I'll tell you what, Mike Bloomberg's going to get a lot of votes because he was on the ballot, and a lot of people VBM, vote by mail. A lot of vote by mail ballots have already gone in, and older people tend to do that earlier. As soon as they get the ballot, they fill it out, they send it back in. So I have a feeling Bloomberg is going to place 3rd in the Florida primary. Yeah, it's craziness. Yep. Fact. But GDP is not a good count of how the average man or woman are doing. Right. There are some countries that have instituted a happiness index. Basically longevity, health outcomes, things like that. I think we would do well to implement such a system. So, yeah, but the thing about that, Dave, is everybody had Bernie in a landslide up Super Tuesday. Like nobody saw that coming.
Yeah, Deb said, "Oh my god, my 401k is doing really bad right now."
Yeah. Don't
So
look
yeah,
at the flowers.
as long as you're not going to retire for the next 5 to 10 years, don't worry about it. Just look away because it's probably not done. Yeah, at the end of the Rachel Maddow interview with Warren, she actually asked Warren, about the state of the economy, and her 5-minute description was exactly what I've been ranting and railing about, but in a perfectly stated, extremely relatable way. Like that was like after I was talking to Greg about this morning. I felt very, very validated because it was exactly my argument. It means I'm right. That's fantastic. But you've seen that meme with the dog sitting in the burning room where it's like, this is fine. Like I want to put that on the meme. Like I feel so validated while everything is burning.
I was right about how shitty things are.
Yes, exactly. Oh,
in your face.
Not again.
Damn it.
Again, I have to predict better things. That's really okay, Greg. Let's play a game.
Okay.
You have to predict 3 things that are awesome within 10 years. I'll start.
You first.
Cryptocurrencies like platforms like Chirp and Library are going to take over.
Okay. Are we playing I Go, You Go?
I guess. I don't know. I'm thinking about another one.
All right, I got one.
Okay.
UBI is instituted and a reality.
In 10 years. I like it.
10 years. Yep.
I like it. So I think it's Yuval Harari. I'm really sorry if I messed up that name. The guy that wrote Sapiens and Homo Deus, which I haven't read yet, but it sounds awesome. Chet actually, and we got to get Chet on here. Actually, he's like stupid smart.
Yesterday, you airlocked a Chet, and I was worried it was that Chet. I didn't.
No, you remember Chet that used? Yeah, Chet that used to come on here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Toxic. Yeah.
Man,
it got ugly. It got ugly with me too. It wasn't just you. Yeah.
That was weird. Part of me is worried about him because I used to be like, hey, buddy, like that. He was on anyway. What the fuck was I saying before we got sidetracked? Oh, Chet shared a video. He actually did. Harari did a Google talk, and was talking about. We absolutely want to talk about universal basic income as a thing, but the word I want everyone to pay attention to is universal and not for countries, because the people that will suffer the most from the automation wave that is absolutely coming and the AI wave that is absolutely coming are countries that are manufacturing shit.
Yep.
Right. And I mean, we're already kind of not doing that. But yeah, I would, I started thinking it assuming playing off your UBI thing. And I want to predict this, not thinking it will happen, but just wanting to wish it into being, that countries take 0.1% of their GDP or 1% of their GDP, something small, but something very significant, and put that into a UBI index that goes into countries that sit below a predetermined marker.
Ooh, wow. Man.
Right? Because if you say, okay, Greg, I'm going to take 1% of your income and save the fucking world. All right.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Right. Especially if you're already getting a UBI.
For me, that's $10 a month. So
honestly, $10 a month to somebody in a third world country right now is, it's like 150.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's my second one. Universal basic income worldwide.
Wow. That would be amazing.
It would be.
Okay, let's see. It's my turn now.
Yep.
NASA lands people on the moon in the next 4 years.
In the next 4 years?
Yeah.
Did you start drinking again? I mean,
actually, by 23, so 3 years. Not even 3 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, Greg. Okay. I mean, I did start going wishful thinking, so it would stand to reason that you would triple down on that. I love this fight, by the way. This is my favorite fight that we have.
Yeah, a year after India. Somebody's going to surprise us.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
China,
Jen said
China could surprise us.
they could. Jen said, everybody take a second and hit like on the YouTube video. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
If you're in the app, I think sometimes you have to you have to like click into the details or some shit like that. We're still new at this. We don't know what the fuck we're doing.
We'd also love it, of course, if you would share our
100%
video back to social media. And several people did Wednesday when we asked for that. Quite a few people shared.
Oh, thanks, guys.
So thanks to all of you who did that. We
yeah, it really helps. I tell you, I interviewed the CEO of Library.
You did.
And we only had 30 minutes, so it was like blinding fast because
For
like
you, that's
yeah,
that's a sprint.
Yeah, we it really was.
Corey likes 3-hour podcasts.
I do. I honestly like. I have 100 more questions that I could have easily asked them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very, very interesting. All of our shows are actually backed up there. If you want to watch stuff on there, you're more than welcome to do so. And at the end of that interview, he gave us a code so that everybody who listens to it can, if you have a library account, I can give you a link to get one. You can just get one, but I have a referral link and you support the show by doing it. So we get, I think, 20 LBC tokens for everybody who joins through our referral link. Yeah. Which could end up being significant down the road. But at the end of the video, there's a code to get 50 LBC tokens. At the top price of 2018 was $1.50. So it's like $75.
That's not bad.
If it ever gets back up to that, right? Like it's
Right.
2 cents right now. So it's like whatever.
Right.
But looking at what they're doing and how quickly they're expanding, again, like after the market slumps, it's only the strong survive or whatever. And they've been going for 4 years. They have their shit tight. I'm excited about it. So I'm actually
today's SpaceX Falcon 9 cargo resupply mission will be launched in late evening. It's like 11 o'clock tonight. But it could be canceled. True. It's been very, very windy in Florida, and they have wind parameters that they won't launch outside of a window. So we'll see how it goes. But boosters are supposed to land on land today, not on the barge. That's why, because the seas in the Atlantic right now are.
I can confirm swimming in that is hard.
Yeah.
Hard. So yeah, my first week in, I was wearing fins just because I was a little worried. And my second time in the water, I got smacked by a fucking man-o-war, which
that's not fun.
Really sucked. Now, I was hoping that like, okay, I just got it out of the way, and like now I'm gonna have a cool story, and hopefully it'll never happen again. Every time I'm going in, like, well, for the next 5 or 6 times, I'm like, this is gonna suck. But I have not been hit again, and I've gone like, I don't know, 25 times or something like that. But yeah, doing that with the fins is not that bad. But man, doing it without, like especially yesterday, because the wind was coming out of the south.
Yep.
So, and I swim north first and then back. And swimming north was like, wee. I'm like,
Jen Rakita says, just close out the live chat and you will see the like button.
Oh, cool.
We have 14 likes and 17 people watching. So thank you, everybody. We appreciate it. Except for you 3 people who can't find your like button.
Well, one of them was me.
Oh, I see.
I just liked it.
Okay. There we go.
Boom.
I'm still
now we
14, but whatever.
Oh yeah, it's 14. Never mind.
Yeah.
So yeah, that interview is awesome. It's only going to be available on Library. Actually, I'll get the link and throw that in there.
So let's see what the stock market's doing.
They're going to say it's up because it's only down 500 points.
Down 419.
Yeah, it's funny.
Okay.
Well, Greg, you know why? I mean, honestly, like, really, you just go to work. Just if you're feeling like you have a fever and you just go to work.
Yeah.
I
also saw a tweet this morning, and I cannot remember the journalist's name, and I apologize. One of the reporters for Vice News.
Yeah.
She spent 3 weeks in the Lombardy region of Italy, which is the ground zero for their outbreak of coronavirus, and reporting on it. She arrived at JFK this morning early, and customs waved her through. They didn't even ask her what part of Italy she'd been in.
Yeah.
That's going well.
That's not good.
Yeah. The testing kits that were initially sent were no good. They're ramping up to get out 1 million test kits over the next 6 weeks, which seems like not near enough to me. I had a healthcare worker do a video this morning about thinking she might have been exposed and needed to be tested and being refused testing for a few days.
Yeah, they're just doing it to keep the numbers down, and it's going to get people killed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just to 180 whip this back into shape. Bill Barr might be getting in trouble for lying about the Mueller report.
You don't say.
Remember when we said he was full of shit?
Ass yesterday,
right? Yeah. Remember all the times we were telling people that Bill Barr just fucking straight up lied about the Mueller report? Yeah, we knew all about that.
Yep. And the judge also demanded an unredacted copy of the Mueller report to work on their decision. So, yeah. So, and the judge has the authority to do that. It's so weird when a dog jumps off your head.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just
I get it. That's true.
Yeah. Rhodey's looking for a burrito now. He's like, I've had enough of this shit. I'm going for a burrito.
Yeah, Dreen said my pal Whitney, who joined the Church of Reason yesterday, which I really like that phrase. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
That Montana only has 200 test kits. Yeah, every state has 200 test kits. I'm sure that'll work out. Like it's just, yeah, they're completely and totally botching this. And here's the thing: they said they started curbing flights 4 weeks ago, right? They could have known about this and been doing all of this stuff. The CDC knew this was coming 2 months ago.
Right.
You know what they did? They curbed some flights, and they're failing even at that.
Right.
They didn't ramp up testing capacity. They didn't ramp up hospital capacity. They didn't get a team together to work on, like all the things that Greg and I, who just talk on the fucking internet, would have figured out because the CDC would have been screaming at our faces. But
hey, Corey, are those people smarter than us about infectious diseases?
Let's do that.
We should probably listen to them.
Right. Watch this video from Wuhan where they're fucking singing to each other because they're all locked in their apartment buildings. Right. Like,
yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. My friend Leslie lives in Seattle, and she posted a couple of pictures of downtown yesterday. It's like a ghost town. Seattle is like shut the F down. And
yeah. Anyone thinks this market is done.
The F word, but
yep.
Yeah, the schools are and there are huge concerns there because this is how bad a shape we're in. They're concerned about telling kids to telelearn because number one, they're not sure they have enough one-to-one devices for kids to actually do their work at home or Wi-Fi where they are. But also, there are a lot of kids in the public school system that the only food they get for the day is at school. There are kids that are not going to eat because they're closing schools down. That's fucked up. But please, let's give more tax money to charter schools that that discriminate against gay teachers and students. That seems like a much better use of our money, doesn't it? It's not.
To all of you third-party voters or people who say you might go home, this will be on you. To everybody who voted third party or didn't vote for Clinton, or like us didn't do enough. It's like, don't ever get it twisted. The reason why I get so aggressive with this is because I failed. Every time I say this, I'm judging myself as much as I'm judging you, and I am, because we have to do this to ourselves. Like, this cannot be allowed. If you see anyone saying, "Oh, I'm just going to take the principal stand and fucking vote for fuck you," stop.
Vote for Yang.
Stop.
I'm sorry, but I've seen people
post
that. It's like,
dude, I do not let them get away with that.
Yeah, it's the primaries. So
yeah, honestly, like, that's the thing. Like, if you want to vote for Yang in the primaries, I haven't said anything about that because I honestly don't care. But right, like I don't think it's going to have very much of an effect on who the ultimate nominee is going to be.
Right.
And honestly, like I'm committed wholly to whoever it's going to be. And I don't even want to get into it anymore.
But we are building a wall. Yeah. And Donald Trump redesigned the wall so the slats are close enough together to keep the coronavirus out. So, I'm sorry. Well, hashtag coffee is now canceled because we're done. We're good now. Show canceled. He's a stable genius.
Motherfucking shitballs.
Yeah. CDC didn't have the scientists either, as Trump fired them all 2 years ago. The pandemic response team. Also, we closed offices in 37 of the 47 countries where we had them to try and get like a canary in a coal mine view of things developing in other parts of the world. Also, there are 730 empty staff positions at the CDC because he slashed their budget for staffing, as he did with many other departments, Department of Interior, Energy Department,
and hey,
several others.
Is that savings? Is that increasing or decreasing the deficit? I just wanted to ask, like, is that working?
So far,
record increase in the annual deficit. Never mind the debt, which is going up anyway.
And how
massive increase in the debt.
How are people that yelled and screamed about Obama's economic policies okay with this?
But they honestly, like, I never personally talked to anyone who was whining about his economic recovery that understood it. Not one.
Yeah. Okay.
So like, I mean, and granted, like that's how I qualify. If I'm talking to you and you're stating things that are factually incorrect, some people might care what your opinion is, but I never will.
Yeah. Bumbleviz, here in the Netherlands, our CDC have already given up to eradicate corona from out of country, from our country.
They're just not trying to do
school.
containment. Yeah.
Right. And we were told the other day by experts who are not being listened to by the president that we're past the phase where we can do containment. We're going to have to do,
It's mitigation,
management and recovery, mitigation. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, when children go to school where they get infected, I mean, that that's why Japan canceled school.
Right.
The confirmed infected in the Netherlands is apparently going up by an average of 60% a day. Wow. So that's a double every 24 hours.
That's a lot.
Yeah. If that gets sustained. And this is the thing, like now that it's out everywhere, there are countries like South Korea that are trying to get a handle on it.
Right.
And with their extremely aggressive testing, they're finding that and I haven't looked in the last 3 days, but the last time I saw it, the death rate was like 0.6%, which is only 6 times worse than the flu that kills 40,000 people a year in the United States. Right. So it's not good. But it's important to try and keep those things in context. But there's countries like Italy that aren't testing anywhere near enough. Apparently they're not doing it in the Netherlands either. So, this is like, I keep going back to like, everyone thinks Trump can win. His economy is about to die. Like die. This is nothing right now. Honestly, supply chains haven't had a time to factor into the economy yet.
Right.
Municipalities like San Francisco or whatever that are sort of quieted down, that's only starting right now. Airlines have just started to cancel flights, which Chris Hayes was talking about last night. This is just the start.
Yeah, like conventions are getting canceled, right?
Yep.
Microsoft canceled a big one.
TED Talks.
TED, right?
Their next one, they said they're either going to do it virtually or they're just going to straight up cancel it.
The World Minecraft Expo in Orlando has been canceled.
How?
I know those fuckers. I was actually going to try and go, but the thing is, it's not just about the people that work the convention. There's all the supporting businesses, all the hotel vacancies, all the car rentals,
transportation, the whole nine yards.
Oh my God, it's kind of that's spooky. That seeing downtown Seattle as a ghost town was like. Think about all the little diners, little coffee shops, little hot dog vendors that are now sitting at home.
Fuck me. Listen to this. Back. Casey saying it looks like do you have links for that, Casey? Looks like COVID-19 causes pulmonary fibrosis, which is permanent lung damage. Yeah, Silvestri said my company's canceled all travel for the organization. Twitter said don't come to work. Granted, they can work distantly.
Yeah, Leslie works at a massive tech company in Seattle, and they're like half of a 40-story building.
Yeah,
and they're all working from home now. They're not staffing up.
That's the thing. Like if you're in manufacturing, you don't get to do that.
Right.
If you're a bus driver, you don't get to do that.
Right.
If you're a gig worker, you don't get to do that.
Uber drivers.
Right.
Yeah. Uber, Lyft, Uber Eats, and fast food workers.
Shit.
People with no insurance and no way to stay home.
Yeah. Casey, for the record, I assumed you did. I actually just want to read it. The first double lung transplant on a CV-19 patient was just performed in China. Fucking fuck. Okay. Oof. Oh shit. Most comic artists have pulled out of the big Comic-Con in Seattle this weekend. Yeah, this is just gonna start funneling into an economy. And hey, you remember I was talking about the Warren Buffett indicator? Guess what was all over the news yesterday?
Yeah. Do you ever get tired of being right about shitty things?
Yes. Okay, I wasn't done yet.
That was really, really skyrocketing.
Up to down 400.
Minus 358.
Oh, it collected half of the losses that it had overnight, but not the 1,000 it lost yesterday. Ugh. Wow. Yeah, so that's gonna be a thing. Okay, so because you're right, I am very tired of that. So I did. What was my first one? Oh, that new platforms are going to take over based on cryptocurrency.
Right.
Blockchain.
My first one was UBI.
And then I went to International UBI, and then you went to that super adorable thing about NASA beating SpaceX to the moon, which would be great. Well, Dave Myers actually said he thinks that's more likely than UBI. Honestly, that it could. I think that I will say this: there is a better chance of NASA getting people to the moon than us getting the right kind of unassailably good UBI done first. So I think NASA will actually do that first.
Right. Yeah, everybody's
years,
all over. Well,
years after
Tulsi
SpaceX.
Gabbard's for UBI. She's for means tested UBI. Shut the hell up. Not cool.
Kamala Harris was for that too. It doesn't mean anything, right? Like if you have a job and you have 2 kids and you have a car payment and you have student loans, then you get $500 a month. That's not how any of this works.
Tax credit. That's not
it is, right? Like it's not, and I think her plan was a little different than that, just to be fair. I'm probably not speaking to it as accurately as I should, but it wasn't enough. Like it was a good attempt, but it was a good attempt to try and, triple down on the scarcity mindset. It's just not going to work. Okay. So anyway, in the next 10 years, SpaceX is going to get a human being on Mars.
Yeah, I'll buy that one. Yeah, I have no trouble with that prediction.
Right? But like in 10 years, that's insane. Because you know how long it's like NASA's budgeting for that? Like 2035 at the earliest.
2032.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2032.
That's 12 years.
That is 12 years. You're good at math.
Yeah. Well, it's an even numbered year, so it was easy.
That's true.
I'm not as bad at math as Brian Williams and the people on MSNBC were last night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There was some sort of tweet that they repeated that Bloomberg has spent $400 million on the election, and there are 327 million people in America, so he could have given everybody $1 million.
Oh fuck! I've seen. Oh my god!
He's gonna give everybody in America $1.50. Yeah.
I've seen so many people do that. I'm like, do you know how? Oh my god! Education spending in this country needs to go way up.
And I'm bad at math, and I was embarrassed for them. So
yeah.
I'm notoriously math lexic, is what I call it.
Okay, devs.
Hope not.
Nailed it. Going to 2 concerts this weekend. Worried about COVID-19? Hope not.
Hope not. Yeah, I'm always glad when that joke comes back around.
100%. You guys are beautiful. I love you guys very much. Autopsies of CV-19 victims suggest that COVID-19 is like a combo of SARS and AIDS, damages both lungs and immune system, and can cause irreversible lung damage even if the patient survives. That sounds cool. Everything's fine. Hey, if you're sick if you got a fever and you kind of feel like you might have COVID-19, just go to work. It's fine. Just go to work.
It's fine.
It's totally cool.
I'll be happy to have you handling my burger and fries at Culver's.
Clown. I mean, yeah. People will die. Like probably like thousands of people will die because Trump is an idiot. Anyway, so I did my last prediction. Did you do your last prediction?
So it's got to be something good.
Yes. I mean, again, because we've been predicting bad things and they keep coming true and it's not good.
Joe Biden, during his single term as president, institutes a huge research program, and we have cures for some of the more virulent and dangerous and deadly forms of cancer. He actually cures cancer, which is something he said on the campaign trail more than once.
I mean, I like that because
it doesn't happen during his term, but he sets in motion.
Right. Like the whole, Al Gore, I invented the internet thing.
The internet, right.
And that's the thing. When you actually look into it, the internet would not have happened without him. So,
true.
that, I like that because they're so close on so many different things that could just murder cancer in the face forever.
Yep.
That might actually happen. Like it really, I think, is coming to this point where it's at a tipping point where, I mean, they're talking about using CRISPR, for example, to reprogram white blood cells to go after the specific genetic code in whatever cancer you happen to have.
Right. Well,
for all things we
Wednesday,
can do.
I shared a story that they had actually done CRISPR inside a patient. They'd actually injected the CRISPR genetic whatever the thing is that they used right into somebody's eye to try and cure their genetic vision abnormality. So that's pretty cool.
So Deb, I'm not sure what the context is, but Biden having dementia, I don't believe that. And again, like with the stutter that's been around for a long time. I mean, I don't know about you, but I heard him say some really stupid shit in 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, and so on.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Biden throws a lot of resources at curing dementia. No wisecracks here. I'm serious, and I need this to happen. Yeah, I mean that'd be great.
So
that I don't know as much about. I'd love to get Michelle's opinion on that because I know she's done a lot of
living in
research
10
on
years from now.
That's what I'm saying. Like we need to get way better.
UBI here, UBI around the world.
Yeah.
What was
in 10 years? I'm going to do another one. Chirp is actually bigger than Twitter.
Wow.
Yeah, I said it.
Yeah. What was your third one though?
My third one, SpaceX lands humans on the moon or Mars. I mean, right. Yeah, Mars.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Though that was the easiest one. That one's a slam dunk. That's absolutely going to hapen.
I think so too. Right. It was easy, but like I just wanted to say it because it's really cool.
Nice.
I was really worried about the explosion thing because for some reason I thought they weren't building more than one, but they were actually into Mark II, Mark III already.
Right.
So like that was just the we're already building.
I think they may have actually considered it expendable and done some tests outside parameters just to see.
Yeah. And it's dramatic.
I don't want to say they blew it up on purpose, but I think they might have been okay with it blowing up because they were testing things for the newer Marks. So.
Yeah, how much fun is it that like when they were doing the testing on the original Falcon rockets and like trying to get them to land and all that kind of stuff, it was an existential crisis. You would achieve this goal. They literally got down to you achieve a landing on this next one or you're finished. Right. And now when they ask them like, why are you spending so much time on the BFR? It's like this is 5% of our resources.
Right.
5% of their resources, and they're using all the same rockets or whatever because they're getting to the point this year I think he said, but they're going to be building a Raptor engine every day, right, and then they want to do 10 a day, which is completely insane because those rockets are like those rocket engines are, I mean, they're rocket engines, right? They don't call it rocket science for nothing,
right? Did you yet watch the Disney Plus or the National Geographic documentary that's on Disney Plus about?
No, I couldn't find it.
It's there's the tabs for the different sections. There's
I know
Marvel,
what tabs are.
Star Wars, and there's one for National Geographic. It's in the National Geographic section.
Okay, I'll look for it again. I do want to watch that.
Excuse me. Yeah. Okay, so hey, it's 10:58. We've done an hour.
Okay. I know you probably haven't had time to see Devs yet.
I have not. Tell me about it.
I want everyone to go watch
Devs,
this show.
DEVS.
Yeah. It's on FX, which is on Hulu now. It's all the FX on. So that's good. So I'm gonna a couple spoilers, but deal with it. So they walk into this, like, think of every security measure you can think of as far as like in computer tech space, and then times it by 1 million. Right, like a perfectly vacuum sealed building in a giant building covered in gold and concrete and all. It's crazy, right? And they walk in there, and there's this thing that I immediately recognize as the same shape as a D-Wave computer, but looks like a pretty jewel. And the one coder immediately recognizes that it's a quantum computer and asks, "How many qubits is it running?" Now, a qubit in a quantum computer, I had to explain this to Michelle last night. It's basically an electron. It's in the same way that you have a transistor in a computer that's either on or off. It's 1 or 0. It's binary, right? That's why they call it binary. An electron can run with 6 kinds of spin. So instead of on, off, right, or 1 or a 0, you have a 1 or a 0 or an if or a then. Like you can map out very, very many different things. So if you have like 6 qubits, you're running a normal computer. If you have 10, you're running like 1,000 computers or a giant supercomputer. If you have 20 or 30, that's more computing power than the entire planet, right? And I think I'm actually probably underselling it if you can get them all to work together. So the guy asked like, how many qubits do you guys have running? And he said, honestly, the number wouldn't make sense to say out loud. So I immediately took that as because there's like it's a cool show anyway, and they're like going into some really, really existential things that I won't get into because I want you guys to experience it before we start hacking about it. But it's enough computing power to simulate multiple universes.
Nice,
right? Potentially, and then they get into a bunch of other stuff. So I'm excited to talk about that. Yeah, so D-Wave. Bubba just said D-Wave doesn't have a true quantum computer. I heard they've been testing it. The last test that I read from Google is that they confirmed it and they had third parties confirming it. But it's really messed up, right? Like if you need a test to find out if you're actually getting a quantum computer result. I mean, it's hard craziness. because you have to first capture multiple electrons. Those are the qubits. One captured electron is a qubit. Then you have to be able to affect it, change the spin of it. Then you have to be able to read it, which also can have the effect of changing it, right? So it's not an easy thing to try and pull off. But for an example, like a 6 to 10 qubit thing could break any encryption on the face of the earth in less than a second. It could do mathematical equations that require 10,000 years in like an hour. So it's pretty messed up. Anyway, so please, everyone, go watch that show so we can talk about it.
Yeah, I saw a photograph the other day from the mid 1960s, and it's a pallet offload from a cargo airplane of 32 megabytes of RAM. A forklift and a giant pallet, the RAM assembly on it. I was like, wow, 32 megs of RAM. Woo-hoo! Yeah, we're cooking now. So
yeah, Casey said, I'm sure quantum computing would never be used for a nefarious purpose. Big Brother, anyone? Yeah, I mean that's I think a little bit where they're going with this, but it's so much power that because they talk a lot about the fact that the universe is deterministic, right? And very early on in the first episode, the guy who goes in there is talking about being able to predict the movement of a C. elegans, like of a worm, based on determinism and mapping out all of the potentials in the neurons in advance, and then using a really, really advanced AI to kind of sync with it and map those things out in the future, which is really interesting, right? The genetic structure of a worm, very simple worm, being extrapolated out to what it does in the moment is really messed up. But that's the sort of preview to suggesting that you could kind of predict everything. Period.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. Yep. And I don't know how much, and I don't know where they're going to take that, but that's like, it's sort of that existential question is like the idea that we all have free will probably isn't real. It just really feels like it. And that's fun. And we have to act like it anyway. But
I don't there's deterministic universe ideas. I just don't like them.
They're hard. They're really hard. But also the evidence suggests that is the most likely outcome, unless we all have magic souls, which I don't know. I flip back and forth on this. I could be arguing the other thing tomorrow. So what are you gonna do?
What am I gonna do? I'm going to end the show, and then I'm going to make a big giant pot of chicken and rice. Arroz con pollo. We're having a nice big chicken and rice today.
All right.
So
I would like to formally invite everyone to the Church of Reason on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Actually got interviewed about it for the first time yesterday, which was kind of fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Jenner from the Mindwave podcast interviewed.
When do we get to hear that?
It's up. I posted about it yesterday.
Nice.
I can post it.
I'd like to hear that.
Yeah, it's funny too because we were talking about Carl Sagan and all that kind of stuff, and he'd only watched the first like 10 or 20 minutes of the first one, and said, "Man, like between like Carl
Cosmos?
Sagan."
Oh
no, Jenner, the guy who interviewed me, watched the first like 20 minutes of the first secular sermon.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So then he's like, between that and like Mr. Rogers and stuff, we really need that kind of thing injected in. Like, did you watch the second one? Because the second one was all Mr. Rogers quotes.
Mr. Rogers quotes.
His brain was just like, wait, what?
Yeah. Oh, I saw a funny story yesterday. His wife, Fred Rogers' wife, says that when they were at big public events, he used to fart to make her laugh.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he would fart at a public event just to make his wife giggle, which I thought was pretty charming.
Yeah,
I wish he'd have told kids it was okay to do that.
Right.
All right. So yeah, that's going to do it for coffee this week. Nothing exciting is likely to happen over the next few days, so enjoy the peace and quiet. And we'll be back Monday to talk about how wrong we were about it being a quiet weekend. I don't know what's going to happen next. I got to tell you, like I know that it's turbulent and unsettled. That's what primaries are for. I really want people to tone down the slamming the other party's, the other person's candidate. Now, this is the time that we need to start thinking about how to create a positive coalition, and that's not going to happen as long as we're calling each other snakes and fags and whatever else we're calling each other. So let's curb that shit and call it out when we see it. And I'm willing to have that fight with anybody that wants to tussle.
Did you see how many Amy Klobuchar supporters were super, super mean online?
Right?
Me neither.
Yeah, they
Me
were
neither.
awful, those people.
I've had burners tell me, "Oh, it's just because she didn't have as many supporters." Shut the fuck up.
Oh God.
It's just
Okay.
It's
so what you're saying is because you have more supporters, that gives some sort of license for that kind of
right,
behavior?
right. That's it's all defensive.
What's the threshold for you can be dicks on the internet if your candidate has this many?
I need a real number on that, because that's something that I would really like to have. Yeah, the defensiveness, like it, and defending it, period, as just something we should accept. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. LPT, good documentary series about the Unabomber on Netflix right now. Watch that instead of Altered Carbon. But I like Altered Carbon.
Yeah,
that show's cool as hell.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Donna's rewatching season 1 because she'd never seen it, and she's read the books. So I haven't even.
She read all the books
yet. Yeah,
I haven't read the books. I started one and then got bored.
Yeah,
but that happens all the time.
Mr. Rogers never farted. Blasphemy. Okay, Jack.
He doesn't even have a butthole.
What?
Sorry, I went straight.
Everybody has a butthole.
I went straight Kim Jong Un on that one. Sorry.
All right. There you go, Greg. Let's bring them in, not shut them out. Yeah, I agree. And you know, people are saying things to me like, "Oh, well, are you going to say the same thing to you know, Never Bernie voters?" I say the same thing to Never Bernie voters every fucking day for the last 3 years.
Yeah,
every day. That's been our consistent message.
I still have to say it because my partner in my other podcast tried to pull that, and I fucking burned him on. If you listen to our episode with Nerds for Yang, right. I fucking took him to the woodshed. And I told him, like, honestly, like that if you're gonna do the Never Bernie thing and suggest that there's a even remote possibility that you're gonna vote third party, and you say that on Twitter or on our podcast, I will nuke our partnership and this podcast on the spot. And I'm not kidding. Like that. This isn't fucking pinochle. This isn't a game. No, this is not a normal election cycle. It's not. None of us can afford to be petulant. Whoever we back, we can't afford it at this point. I would have happily voted for Kamala Harris. I would have happily voted for Pete Buttigieg. I would have happily voted for Amy Klobuchar. I was really passionate about Elizabeth Warren being the best possible choice in this cycle. But am I going to stay home and fold my arms over my chest and pout? Fuck no. I'm going to make sure that Joe Biden or Bernie Sanders wins the presidency. That's what I'm going to do. What are you going to do? You know, what are you going to do to make sure we don't end up with a second Trump term? That's what we have to do. And then we can argue later about what the best way forward is. Right. I mean, if Biden wins, I'm going to spend the next 4 years arguing about fucking policy. Oh my God. Here's my fourth prediction. Here's my fourth prediction. Oh, now. Okay. In her second term as president of the United States, Stacey Abrams. Go on. Stacey Abrams gets us Medicare for all. Oh, fucking A. All right. In her second, that's like the end of this 10-year period. That's sad. Yeah. Well, let's see. If she runs in 24 and wins 20, so middle of her second term would be right at the turn of 2030. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yeah. There you go. That's a pretty good prediction. Yeah. Okay, I'll vote Bernie in the primary today, Greg. That's cool. Like, good. Yeah. I got to tell you, I have my mail-in ballot in my hand, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure where I am on that. That's the thing. And honestly, okay. Like, this is why a Stacey Abrams announcement now would finish this. Yep. It really would. I really believe that a whole lot of people go, oh, well, okay then. Or if he picked Warren, right? Like, that's the thing. Like, how many of us who are like, you know, if we could magically get all Bernie Sanders policies done. And I do want to say something super positive about Bernie Sanders. And this might play out if he were president. I just don't know. Like, removing all the other criticisms that I have about how this is all going. The fact that he's out there on the actual left, right? Not globally, like barely center left globally. Right, let's get that straight. In Europe, right? He'd be a moderate. That's exactly it, right? Canada, he'd be a moderate. Yeah. But the fact that he's out there doing that means everyone is talking about their version of how you could maybe make a public option as of course we're going to do that. Right. Right. I would stipulate that without Bernie Sanders agitating that far to the left of in the Overton window, none of that would be happening. Yep. It would be status quo on a cracker. It's not that way. So, so I don't want to take that away from Bernie Sanders. And there's a non-zero probability that he could agitate like that and actually bring people to actually vote for a moderate position in the Democratic caucus? Entirely possible, right? But it's moved everything to the point where we're actually all having to talk about different things now, and I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, yeah, and that's why my first prediction was UBI by within the 10 years, because Andrew Yang, put that squarely in the Overton window. It's immensely popular across party lines.
People are just scared of it now. That's really it. Like it's going to require sort of a voted electeds kind of critical mass to start seeming plausible.
Right.
Same thing Bernie Sanders went through with Medicare for All.
Yep. All right, so that's going to do it for hashtag coffee today. As you know, somebody sent me Christina Redlass. Christina, I can't remember what Christina Lau.
Oh yeah.
Right. She's she's changed her Facebook name because she's not Christina Lau anymore. But anyway, she sent me a picture yesterday of a pair of like Chuck Taylor style sneakers with little Sasquatches all over them. I'm like, I have to have those.
Nice.
So Sasquatch is real. That's what I'm saying.